Hello, welcome back to DevOps Invent. We will continue to discuss about top Azure Data Factory interview questions and answers 2023. Q17. What SQL Data Warehouse? SQL Data Warehouse is an enormous data store of information collected through a wide range of sources in an organization and facilitates data-driven decision-making. These data warehouses allow you to gather data from various databases that exist as distributed or remote systems. Azure SQL data warehouses can be built through the integration of analytical reporting, multiple source data, etc. To put it simply, SQL Data Warehouse is an enterprise-level cloud app that allows businesses to process complex queries rapidly from large volumes of raw data. It also functions as a big data concept solution. Q18. Why is Azure Data Factory necessary? Data comes from many different sources, thus, the amount of data gathered can be overwhelming. In such cases, we need Azure Data Factory to carry out the process of storing data and transforming it in an efficient and organized way. Traditional data warehouses can carry out this process. However, there can be many disadvantages to this process. Data comes in many different formats from different sources, and processing and transforming this data needs to be structured. Q19. What are the three types of integration runtime? Self-hosted integration runtime. It has software similar to another type of integration runtime, the Azure Integration Runtime. It is installed on a virtual machine in a virtual network. Azure Integration Runtime, it copies data between different cloud data stores and sends this activity to various compute services such as Azure HUD Insight. Azure Sys Integration Runtime, this executes the Sys packages in a monitored environment. It is necessary to shift data packages to the data factory. Q22. Is it possible to define default values for pipeline parameters? Yes, it is possible to define default values for pipeline parameters. Q23. How should you handle null values in an activity output? You should use the @coalesce construct to handle null values in an activity output efficiently. Q24. What is the way to schedule a pipeline? The time window or the schedule trigger is used to schedule a pipeline. Pipelines can be scheduled periodically or in calendar-based recurring patterns. Q25. Is an activity output properly consumed in another activity? Using the @activity constrict, an activity can be adequately consumed in a subsequent activity. Q26. Is it possible to pass parameters to a pipeline run? Yes, it is possible to pass parameters to a pipeline run. You can define pipelines and pass arguments by executing the pipeline run using a trigger or on demand. Q27. In which Azure Data Factory version are data flows created? Data flows are created in the Azure Data Factory v2 version. Q28. Do you need to know how to code for ads? For Azure Data Factory, coding knowledge is not required as AD provides more than 90 built-in connectors to transform data. Q29. Specify the two levels of security in Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Azure Access Control Lists, this specifies the data object a user may read, write or execute. Access are familiar to Linux or Unix users, as it is POSIX compliant. Azure Role-Based Access Control. This comprises various built-in Azure roles like contributor, owner, reader, and more. It gets assigned for two reasons: to state who can monitor the service and to allow the use of built-in Data Explorer tools. Q30. What is Azure Table Storage? Azure Table Storage is rapid and efficient storage that allows users to store structured data in the cloud. This service offers a key store with design schemas. Q31. What type of compute environments does Azure Data Factory support? Azure Data Factory supports two types of computer environments, namely self-created environment. With the help of Azure Data Factory, you create and monitor this compute environment yourself. On-demand environment. Such an environment is a fully managed compute environment by Azure Data Factory.